If you're in Seattle, and you need to buy or sell a home, we'll be right there for you. Because we're the realtors that you can trust. So go to ronanddonsitdown.com.
You're listening to The Ron and Don Show on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Hey, you guys, what's going on? And welcome to another edition of the Ron and Don Show. And we are back in the Team Lisa with a what?
With a Y.
TeamLisa.com for all your mortgage needs. That's Team Lisa with a Y.com. And we are back in the TeamLisa.com studios.
What is up, Ron and Don Nation?
About to get into top 5 at 5 here in a moment. Before we get there, though, hey, what is cooking this weekend? Because I've been inviting a lot of people. I don't know if they're showing up or not, but if they all show up, we're going to have about 600 people.
Wow.
If they don't show up, we're going to have about 6. Matt, are you coming? I don't know. Did we invite you?
You did invite me.
Sunday, 2 o'clock, my house, but you can't come, right? You can't come?
I can come.
Oh, we're up to 6. Who are you bringing?
I'm bringing my wife.
Okay, we're up to 602.
602 people.
So, Ron, just so everyone knows,
Don volunteered me to cook.
We're having a before the summer party and after summer party because the last summer party we had, it rained and we didn't have enough space inside the house. So we said, you know what, let's split it up. So if you didn't get invited to this summer party, you're going to be invited to the other one, or go ahead and just invite yourself. We don't care. Just show up at my house anytime you want to. What are you cooking, though? Because we're doing this different. We've asked everyone to bring a side, which probably means, I haven't done this in a long time. Is everyone bringing a bag of potato chips?
300 sides.
Is it 300 bags of potato chips?
Probably.
I'd asked people to actually make their sides.
Really?
To make them. To be thoughtful, to make a side. I asked Matt.
Most of the time, that means you go to QFC and you buy a bucket of potato salad.
Yeah.
I bet you're going to get 16 buckets of potato salad,
Oh, man.
12 buckets of coleslaw,
Yeah.
and then 53 bags of chips.
Matt, what are you making something for the pre-summer party, or what are you in the
I'd
wife
just like to
doing?
make clear that Don is lying. He did not say anything to me about please make your side.
Yeah, I've
That
told
was
everyone
not-
to bring it. I said, don't come. I
So
said,
here's
do
my
not
plan.
come
My wife
unless
has-
you bring a side, is what I said. And it can't have peas in it. If there's peas in it, get
Out.
the F out of my house. That's all I'm saying. No peas, no lima beans on the side. Yes, Matt.
My wife has one up because I'm the editor. She can see this before the party. She can find out.
So I have been thinking about this, and I only do a couple of dishes.
He's in charge of the proteins.
And so,
Ron. Is Michael helping you, or are you doing this
No,
on
I'm
your
going to
own?
do this on my own.
Oh, my
There's
God.
only a couple dishes that I'm confident with in front of guests.
Yeah.
And so one of them is I make homemade. Well, maybe 3. I can do a homemade ravioli. Very labor intensive. And so I'm not confident with 602 people to make homemade raviolis.
No, there's going to be a lot of people there. So
Number two-
we got to scale and scale fast.
Is I am pretty good with pizzas. Again, though,
Yeah.
if you're making 600 pizzas, that's not.
Oh, we don't have time
It's
for
not
that.
going to be. That's a lot of dough.
And
It's
we
a
got
lot of
homies coming from
supplies.
Snohomish.
Here's my plan.
In
I'm
fact,
going to
I
go.
was just with Ryan and his wife, and they're coming to the Extravaganza Spectacular.
I'm hoping that there's not a huge amount of vegans/vegetarians in attendance.
That's my
because
next door neighbor.
I am going to go to the restaurant supply over here, and I'm buying 3, maybe 4 tri-tips.
Okay, I love
and
it.
so I'm going to do different rubs on each tri-tip.
Oh, this is great.
And then we're doing a different temperature on each. Because here's the thing. If you do it the way it's supposed to be done, which is medium,
Yeah.
unless you're like a caveman, people, when they see it cut open, are like, because it looks, the properly done tri-tip is going to look a
They've
little
never
under-
been to an Oakland Raider football
They
game.
don't know how this
They've
works.
never been out in the parking lot.
I'm going to
with the Black Hole Gang. They know how to tri-tip.
I'm going to phase it from like properly cooked tri-tip into like Donald Trump zone tri-tip.
beef
where
jerky
it's
tri-tip.
just all the way gray, all the way
Can
through.
I get? I want mine Chicago rare. if you
Beef.
don't mind.
Well, we can go maybe even before that.
Well, we have dual stoves. Do we need both stoves? We got 6 burners. We got a griddle. We
I'm
got
gonna
a
do it on
big
the
green
grill.
egg.
I'm pre-cooking. I'm
We have-
bringing them up to temperature in the oven.
Okay.
With a probe thermometer. I'm doing reverse sear.
Okay.
Reverse sear is my go-to method. I'm reverse searing these onto the grill.
And we need we need the gas barbecuer going.
Gas barbecue
but we
full whack.
But we don't need the big.
We do need the ovens.
We don't need the big green egg.
We could reverse sear in the big green egg if you want to, but like you can just do it in the oven.
That means we're all going to smell like charcoal.
No, let's just do it in the oven.
Okay.
Like back in the day, we used to go all out and like do all the fun stuff, and then you realize that no one really pays attention anyway.
Yeah.
And they just want a free margarita.
Okay. What liquor do I need to get for
margaritas? Last time were great.
But you made them.
I could pre-make them.
Let's do it.
All right, pre-made margaritas and some tri-tip.
Okay, and then I'll pick up.
So did I just get delegated drinks? I'm in charge of protein, and now all of a sudden you're offloading all the sides.
I'm going to pick up red wine so everyone can spill that on my carpet.
Don't get red wine.
That's why I don't have carpet.
Don't get red wine.
Do you get white wine?
Get what you want.
What do you get?
Did I just not say margarita? Is there an echo in here? I just said margarita.
So just a margarita.
Dude, here's the I'm going to the dirty little secret on the Ron and Don show.
Okay.
Everybody thinks they're a wine drinker.
That's right.
Oh, it's got a nice cherry blossom back finish, and look at the legs on that thing.
Right.
When you put a margarita
that's it.
next to any wine at a party, you watch what gets drank first.
You're right.
Everyone goes for the margarita.
We had
I'm a wine connoisseur. No, you're not. Not when there's free margaritas, you're not.
We had a bartender last time. We didn't need them. All we needed was a trash can full of margaritas
we have
that you could dip your cup in.
8 bottles of rosé left over. Oh, I love a good rosé. Unless there's a margarita next to it.
Yeah.
And then you get margaritas.
I still have like 16 bottles of red wine from the party that we did out at my
throw
Magnolia
that
house, and it's been sitting out in the garage for a couple of years, not aging well,
No one's
especially
gonna
when
drink
it's
it.
130 degrees out there.
You know what? I'll pick up a couple bottles of tequila and margarita mix and just go to town.
Okay, let's get to tonight's top 5 at 5.
Ron and Don's top 5 at 5. 5,
3, 2,
1.
All right, it was just a Memorial Day weekend with everything going on in the world, and we're kind of at a war, but we're not. I'm blocking you, you're blocking me. No, you're not. Yes, I am. What was your take on Memorial Day? What have you been thinking about?
As I think you and I are similar in the sense that my family is heavily weighted towards military service. My dad served, my brother served, my niece served. So like I have lots of family members. My Uncle Fred was in, everybody served. And my Uncle Ron, who I'm named after, but served in World War II, I just never did. I knew that if I can just be quasi self-aware, I knew as an 18-year-old, if I had gone into the military, that it would have crushed me. Like I wasn't rebellious, but I was very averse to any sort of authority telling me what to do. And at 18, if you think I'm a smart ass now, I was a smart ass times 100 at 18. And I knew if I went in the military, it would be all out war, and I would lose that war because I would not want to obey anyone in authority. So I just knew that'd be a bad. Some people love that structure and they love being able to go in and get their career set. And I know folks that retired in their 40s because they did their 20 years. It would have been an absolute disaster for me after watching my brother go through it. So I didn't serve. So
you thought a lot about yourself and self-preservation on Memorial Day.
100%. No. 100%. And when I was 18. So what I did though is I'm just giving some back context into why I didn't serve. But going to this Memorial Day, I really feel for the men and women who are serving now, especially when I watch the Department of War in the way that 4-star generals have been treated recently. And I hope that the rank and file feel the support from Democrats and Republicans, just Americans of all political stripes, because I don't think anyone signed up and to use the cliche, had on their bingo card, I'm going to join the Navy, and bam, we're going to the Strait of Hormuz. I don't think that anyone saw that coming. That was completely out of the blue. Likewise, I don't think people were anticipating, hey, why don't you go blow up this civilian boat that may or may not have cocaine on it off the coast of Venezuela. So there have been some military assignments recently that I think do not go with what I consider protecting and serving American soil and our coastline. And so I just hope that for me, that the people in the military, I hope they feel the love from average Americans like ourselves, instead of, it's been so politicized, with Pete Hegseth doing his whole routine and firing generals left and right and calling them back around the world and doing the whole dog and pony show. So I hope that is not filtered down to politicize the rank and file, because when the military calls these men and women, calls them to go into action, they do. And they still obey the chain of command, and that is important, but it's got to be bewildering if you're a corporal or a sergeant somewhere. We're like, what happened? Where'd my general go? Like, I've served for that guy for a long time. Like, he seemed confident to me. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. I always think, and this doesn't make me the best on Queen Anne Mountain. My son and I drove around on Memorial Day seeing if we could find another American flag besides ours. We couldn't find one. And what's really amazing is if you drive out the I-90 corridor, or you go out to a place like Ellensburg, and I've taken videos of it before when it's not Memorial Day, you can drive around the block. I remember being out in Ellensburg. They have a really great butcher out there. You should go and get some tri-tip. And my son and I always stop there to get some of the homemade beef jerky that they make. And I went around, they have a big block in Ellensburg. And whether it was a local hardware store or whether it was a house down the street, I counted 17 American flags flying. And one of the reasons why people feel so strongly, especially out in the rural areas, and you see them fly their American flag and sometimes their Trump flag off their trucks, is because a lot of them in those rural areas, in order to get away from the farm or that mining town, you joined up for the GI Bill, right? You joined up. And it's what got you out of there, and it's what helped educate you. And maybe you were able to go to college, or you were able to go to a tech school. And like in my neighborhood, I don't think there were, and I could be wrong, I just don't think there were a lot of remembrances going on for Memorial Day. It didn't feel that way. So it was interesting because I spent some time with Gunnar yesterday, and we went by. In fact, we drove by a cemetery yesterday, and we talked about the American flags there and some the lack thereof. And then whenever I walk through or run through Discovery Park, I always think about the million men and women that there's one telephone when they arrived. There's 526 buildings. There were no trees. The trees that people love, none of that was there. It was all bulldozed. It was Fort Lawton then. And then you got to get on a boat or a plane, and you were either heading to fight the Japanese or you were heading over to fight the Germans. And then I think a Memorial Stadium that's being rebuilt right now with 600 names on it. All young men that were playing high school football, like my son's playing high school football. And then some of them signed up at the age of 15 and 16 years old. 15 and 16 years old. They'd be 102, 103 today. And they signed up to go fight a war because we were attacked, and those 600 souls from Seattle that didn't come back. And they're in the midst of tearing down parts of Memorial Stadium, and the places where all those names are. It was I went to see those and last year, and they were just all overgrown. You couldn't read one name. And then we fast forward to what's happening today. And if you wonder why it's happening, it's because we do forget our history. When we say gone but not forgotten, we always forget, right? 3 George 13, a cop in Seattle, died at 29th and Yesler. There's a badge in the ground, and we know because we put the badge there. Officer Tim Brennan, he is gone and he is forgotten, right? The Lakewood Four, many people no longer remember their first names. They don't remember Greg's name or Tina's name. They just remember the Lakewood Four, or in time, and that's what history does. We forget. So that's why it's so important. And we sat down, we were watching a new Tom Hanks show. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a 20-part series on the History Channel about World War II. And instead of doing this with Spielberg, he's doing it with John Meacham. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a 57-year-old writer, very prolific writer. He's written some amazing books. And he said something that I just wanted to share with you, because they were asking him, as you think about our history, and specifically about World War I and World War II, and then you also think about the celebration of 250 years, should it be a celebration or a commemoration? And he made a distinction between those two. Here we are to celebrate. I don't know if you see the renderings. We're going to have a huge, violent UFC fight.
Right.
At the People's House.
Believe me, I think of Idiocracy, the movie, quite a lot.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to have a huge, violent fight to celebrate our 250 years. We're going to have a TV show, because that's what this is all turned into, is a TV show. So Hanks asked Meacham about this, and this is what he said. He said, look, the reason we were a target on December 7th, 1941, and the reason that Hitler declared war on us on December 11th was because of the tradition that grew out of what happened 250 years ago. It was a declaration of independence, which then was an assertion that the rule of law and individual sovereignty would create a world in which politics was not a perpetual battlefield for the strong to dominate the weak, but that it was an arena where we would contend against each other, where we would have opponents, but our opponents would never become our enemies. And we look at this march sometimes, the march to dictatorships in the 20th century. I'm doing a biography on Eisenhower right now. And in 1964, he went back to Normandy, France with Walter Cronkite on the 20th anniversary of D-Day. And he's sitting on the wall there at the major cemetery above Omaha Beach. Ron and I have walked through that cemetery together. And he's reflecting on what it all means. And he says, you know what, Walter? These men bought time for us to get this right. We're not getting it right. We have become each other's enemies. Meacham didn't say that. Don O'Neill said this. Story 2.
Ron and Don's Top 5 at 5.
Number 2.
All right, let's lighten things up a little bit. I just got to work. I was feeling pretty good. And I'm like, hey, finally, we got some parking. There were some people that were living outside that moved into the area. And boy, do they have nice bikes. And I have to say, when they start pulling things out of their tents, they have some nicer furnishings in their tents than I have at my house.
They have nicer tents than I have.
I think you would agree. And I'm certainly not making fun of these folk or these people, but I do have to say, man, some of these guys feel a little dangerous to me, because they are. They are dangerous. There are people on our streets that are fresh out of jail. There are people on our streets that should be places where they're getting treatment. There are people on our streets that don't belong on our streets. If we really care about our fellow man, and as I just said, we don't see our fellow man as an enemy. And I look at what the current mayor is going through. This is what she's going through. And she's only been in the seat a couple months, so I think we have to give her some room. But they moved the tents out just in time as I pulled in today, so all the big RVs can park now where the tents were. Did you see that?
I didn't.
Where I normally park,
right down here?
or by the concrete station.
I'll have to take a look.
There are huge RVs. There's a huge RV over there now, just one huge, and then there's 8 cars that people are living in around the RV. And it seems like they're having a very good time. And I look at that and I'm just like, I don't know how Katie's going to settle this, because this is not happening on the east side. That's where business is escaping to. That's where we see our clients escaping to. That's where people with kids now are escaping to. It used to be a cool thing to live in Seattle and I'm going to commute over to Microsoft. Now it's, I'm going to work at Microsoft. I'm going to hope to God my Amazon job, because look at all the parking lots and look at where all the cranes were in South Lake Union. The cranes are gone. I looked yesterday. You live there, Ron. I couldn't find one crane. At one point in our city, we had 113 cranes up. 0 cranes up in South Lake Union, but there are still, like where I used to get my cars fixed at the Auto Hound, a lot of those old buildings are still there that they were going to tear down and build up. That is not happening because Amazon said, hey, we're going east, right? Microsoft, who was going to move to South Lake Union, they said, we're going east. I even hear that the Gates Foundation is looking to exit South Lake Union. So when you look at this, then I start thinking about when I used to live up on 82nd Street in Greenwood at our friend Kanan's old house. I rented a house from him. Everything kind of north of 85th, back then, it seemed like the neighborhood had taken to the streets with camcorders back then and VHS. There was no internet. And they took those streets back. 200, 250 people would go out at night and patrol those streets. You go up and look at those streets now, the wheels have completely come off. If we think there's a challenge here with homeless people or people that need housing or people living in derelict RVs, up there, they're all shooting at each other, right? And it's not 1 or 2 or 3. It is incredible what is happening on Aurora, north of 85th right now. So what have people decided to do up there? They're building their own barricades. They're barricading themselves into their neighborhood. And I think of a buyer that we had of a home near that place, and she said, "You know what? She was thinking about buying a house, and we ended up buying a house in a different place. And you may remember this. And she went out there one night. She said, "You know what? I was out there last night at 10 o'clock. I saw people out there shooting up. I saw." She didn't see gunfire, but I believe she heard gunfire while she was there. And then also someone just lit the dumpster on fire up there. And right in front of her house, there were people in cars that were shooting up in front of this house that she was thinking about buying. So people are like, hey, you can't build barricades in the neighborhood. How are the cops and how are the police supposed to respond? They're not responding, evidently, and that's why we're having to build barricades in our neighborhood. What say you about the barricades that citizens are building in North Seattle? This is really incredible, and I don't blame them at all. I'll get a hammer and some nails, and I'll help them build.
I think they should, at least for this summer, increase the barricades, because as the World Cup comes here for football championship, you think you've seen some prostitution on Aurora before? Wait till the World Cup weekends where international travelers are coming in. Some of them live in societies that it's really frowned upon to party real hard or to partake in some of these things. You're going to see some drug traffic and sex trafficking on 99 that I doubt we've ever seen in our entire lives. Oh my God. It is going to be absolute insanity is my prediction. Having said that,
I was downtown yesterday. A lot of the streets downtown, especially the bus corridor, really clean.
Right,
like,
they're getting
really,
ready for the World Cup to be downtown.
It's as clean as I've ever seen it.
But I root for Ballard so hard because Ballard had a huge, and still does,
that's where we're sitting right now,
industrial streak to it. Ancestrally, it was taking care of like the maritime industry, but it sort of kept a more of a blue collar vibe. And man, it's now is the dumping ground for everybody else's problems. So when we had the jungle and it got squeezed out, and then it went downtown, and that was untenable because it was close to tech, and so it got squeezed over here. And so for the past, I would say 5 years, Ballard has just been the kitty litter box for the city of Seattle. It's rough, and I think this summer is only going to get rougher because of the World Cup. They say they're having problems selling tickets and selling out these World Cup games. I think the ticket prices are going to soften to a point where folks are going to snatch them up, because it's been like, oh, we're going to give $4,000, $5,000 a seat to watch Brussels play Iran, and like that's just not going to move the needle. But as those ticket prices come down and people start to snatch them up, we're going to see, I think it's going to be a summer that is very buttoned up downtown with a huge police presence, and stuff has been really swept up.
I don't think we can have a huge police presence. We don't have enough police.
Some sort of presence. There's going to be a show of some sort of presence downtown, and then as you go up Aurora, I think it's just going to be open drugs and prostitution like we've never seen before.
Well, but I do have to, and if Katie's a part of this, I have to give credit where credit's due. down in the areas of the city that are usually a jungle they're very, very clean right now. My son and I were down there walking yesterday, and we went to a movie and grabbed something to eat, and it was spectacular. It's the Seattle that
What movie did you go
that
to? You're not much of a movie theater guy.
I know, and I have to
I bet
say,
it's been a decade.
have you been to an AA? Let's make this.
Ron and Don's top 5.
I'm trying to think of the last time
Number
I
3.
knew that you went to a movie. It's got to be at least 7 years.
Yeah, and he had
In
to
a
pick,
theater.
He had to pick the longest movie that has ever been made.
The Odyssey?
No.
What is it?
What's the one with Ryan Gosling?
Hail Mary.
Yes.
It's getting a lot of Oscar buzz.
It is 2 hours. It is 2 hours and 39 minutes. And then the credits beforehand were 31 minutes.
That's right in your wheelhouse. 3 hours.
So I'm in seat 16, row J. Got that online. There is no way out when I'm 16, he's 15.
He likes to sit in the middle
No. We're
on the aisle.
well, this movie theater that we're in, which is AMC 11 downtown.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
Yeah.
Like all the stores inside are closing.
Right.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Rocket up there, you can't even get a Rocket Burger anymore. And then you walk in and you're like, man, this place, it seems like it's 1992. Then you go sit in your chair, and I kid you not, I have pictures of it. The bolts were sticking out of the
It's because no one goes to the movies anymore.
They were there this day, though. That's what I thought. Why are they here?
It's a holiday.
It's packed. I couldn't move. And then I'm up against a place where there should have been a door if there was a shooter. There's no door. There was just one door. So we had to come in the opposite door. I'm sitting way up in the corner. I feel like I'm on a 7. What's the smallest plane that you could
707.
Smallest plane. I feel like I'm on a prop plane flying to London. That's what it felt like to me. And you know I hate that. So I'm up there, and now he is eating. You can't tell him this.
He's chomping on popcorn.
I don't think he brushed his teeth really well before we got to the show, and he wears retainers over his teeth, and so when you pull those off, oh my gosh, just the
Well, you have a
breath that was headed my
nose.
way. It's a lot of halitosis going on. Then you mix in with the halitosis, and you know I'm super sensitive. You know you mix in with the halitosis. You mix in the popcorn smell.
It's lovely.
Popcorn smell. That is worse than being in a game next to somebody who has halitosis mixed in with beer and garlic fries. That's right up there with me in the popcorn.
So how'd you enjoy the movie?
Ron and Don's top 5 at 5.
Number 4.
Have you seen the movie?
No.
Have you seen the movie, Matt?
Yes, in the theater. Same theater, I think.
I didn't want to know what the premise was. I'm lucky I didn't know the premise because I wouldn't go see it. What Ryan Gosling does in this movie, because it's really, in a lot of ways, when Matt did the Martian movie, Matt Damon,
Yeah.
was he alone in that movie most of it?
Most of the movie.
And then and then when Tom Hanks was on the beach with the ball,
Wilson.
it's a lot of that, and he's incredible. Like it could have completely just when you see it and you see what it's about. Do you know what it's about?
It's about a Hail Mary. It's like when there's a long offensive play in football and you have to score with 3 seconds left on the clock, you throw a Hail Mary.
Ron and Don's
Why do you
top
keep-
5.
I thought I was doing some power outs. We're
We're at story 3 still, and you're all the way to story 5.
No, I was going to
And
4.
We're only
It's
27
going
minutes
to 4.
in.
It's going to 4.
You went to 4 twice.
That's right. 'Cause
Anyway,
I thought
I'm
we
still
powered
on.
up.
I'm still on 3. I'm still on 3.
You're going to make us go in real time what the movie
I'm
was
still
about.
on. I'm still. It's a podcast. I'm not in a rush to get to a commercial break. F the commercial break. So no, he has to save mankind. You know this, Ryan Gosling.
I haven't seen the movie. I want to see it. It's getting some Oscar
You
buzz.
can't watch it at home. You got to go
Right.
see it at AMC.
I'm not going to do it on
11
a holiday
Sit
Monday.
and see. I'll buy your ticket. I
not
want you
sitting
to
all the way up
sit
there.
and seat J16, and then the missus, I'll pay for it. She can sit in J15. Has to be matinee though, because it costs a lot less. And I know you like to save money.
Right.
Anyway, this could have Matt. Wouldn't you agree? Like, if everyone thought the movie was stupid, it would have destroyed Ron Gosling. Because what he has to commit to, like they always talk about Will Ferrell on Saturday Night Live or Amy Poehler or like a Jim Carrey. The reason they're great in comedy is because they fully commit to whatever they're doing.
Right.
And at some point, you're just going, I can't believe that Ryan Gosling's doing this. I can't believe it.
Did they score in the last minute of the game to win?
Matt, what was your take on? Would you agree with that assessment?
Well, I think Ryan Gosling did an excellent job.
You do think so?
I think if it had been a bomb, he could have just gone back to doing Ryan Gosling stuff, and it would have been his career would be fine.
I think there's a lot of people though that couldn't do what he did, and with because he still has the Ryan Gosling humor, like the underlying humor is there, and then there's a real tenderness to the movie that I thought was pretty spectacular.
You actually were able to unwind and enjoy the movie.
Oh no, my back is still killing me. I'm seeing the doctor tomorrow morning at 8:20. I did cry. Yep, cried. Yep.
Ron and Don's Top 5 at 5.
Number 4.
All right, let's get to story number 4. Did your parents beat you much? Therapists are now saying corporal punishment is not a great idea, and I'm like, wow, somebody must be hard up for news. And then I got thinking all the corporal punishment in my life. What was it? Did you, the way your parents beat you, Bob and Alice, did you look at it as a beating or something you deserved, or corporal punishment, or hey, they just whacked me a few times? I didn't look at it as beating. I looked at it as a correction.
It was
a brush used.
No, it wasn't a brush. My mom had a white belt that she used a few times.
Did she wear the white belt sometimes?
It was like a 1970s belt with like the metal.
She just pulled that off?
She had to go to the closet and get it out.
So it was a hanging belt?
Yes.
She couldn't whip it off?
No, she didn't have this.
My dad would whip it out sometimes, like the belt. And then one time he hit himself right in his shemnene when he bought it. And then he was doubled over, which we loved. He snapped himself with the belt. He was a little drunk at the time.
So my mom, she would go get the belt. I'm going to go.
You know what a
get the belt.
shemnene is, right?
It's not what you think, but you just described. But yes, I do know.
Yeah.
So it was very infrequent.
Where was Bob?
My dad was never, he never struck me. My mom, when my dad would go out of town on business trip, because he was a traveling salesman, if we got a little out of hand, but only a couple times, like it wasn't a regular thing. And I think I wasn't a terror as a child. Like I think you and your brother were way beyond what I got into.
Well, my Auntie Al,
you deserve to get beat.
My Auntie Al was the best because with my cousin Jimmy and my cousin Michael and cousin Jimmy, they called him Lugger. They're both big individuals. My aunt would come out. She might be a few cocktails in. The whole family might have been a few cocktails. And she would bring out my Uncle George's belt. And then as they're rolling around the floor, she'd start snapping at him with the belt and hitting both of them. And one time they were snapping with the belt, and then they reached up and grabbed the belt, and they pulled her down into the pile and kind of make a Lugger sandwich. Is what I remember.
I've heard that there's a meme about Irish families that drink a lot and violence. Can you confirm or deny this?
You're wanting to power out.
I'm not. I'm getting ready.
We're not powering out. So my mom, I think, and I really thought about this. I think anytime she hit us, I think it did bother her. Like she said, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. My dad would repeat the similar thing, or don't start crying, I haven't hit you yet. Did you ever get that one?
Similar stuff.
Don't start crying, I haven't hit you. He would do it out of anger. It was different. My mom would just do it out of desperation. Dad's long haul trucking. She's home with 4 kids. Our friend Kim Shepard one time told me, she goes, yeah, you can sit here and be all cutesy because you're parenting one son. She said, try 4 sometimes. Sometimes you have to use a little corporal punishment. My dad, on the other hand, like he seemed to like enjoy it. And I remember this one time I was sitting on his toilet. We had 2 toilets in the house, and we lived kind of in track housing. And in our track housing, we actually had a track that went around the inside of our house, which means when you go across the street, you know, Jimmy Weatherall, Ronnie Branke, we all the same house, different carpet.
A track inside your track.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't think he was around, and you could usually tell he's around because you could smell the smoke, and I thought he already left to go trucking. So I snuck into his. It was just a powder room, and I remember sitting on the toilet, and he came in, and he was not happy that I was sitting on his toilet, and he gave me this open hand palm slap in my face that left a mark. Mm-hmm. And boy, boy, I didn't like that.
I can see.
I did not. I did.
So
I
here's
did.
the thing.
I did not.
And I'm
like,
being serious now.
No, and I'm being serious.
This story that we talked about, that was talking about this new sort of longitudinal study on corporal punishment, is saying that they believe now that they can tie incidents like that to all kinds of issues in adulthood, up to and including anger issues, anger management, depression, alcohol and drug abuse, like acting out in various ways, imprisonment. Like there's a lot of range of behaviors that happen. And I think for many, many years in our life, most of our life, it was assumed that those two things had no connection. That if someone had anger issues as a 40 or 50-year-old man, it's impossible that that's connected to a corporal punishment incident when they were a child. And now that you've read this, you think about this story, you've done a lot of therapy. Do you see a through line that could be connected?
I think in the way that I felt about myself, because my dad was a hero to me. Like, and I had all these trucker books, and we joke about it, but I had a 1976 belt buckle that built like a Mack truck on it. Great bicentennial year. I always wore Mack hats when I was younger. I remember one time he gave my friend Tommy a Mack hat, and I was like, why is he giving Tommy a Mack hat? Is Tommy his favorite now and not me? So I was always sat to the right of him at the table. I always cut my meat with the wrong hand. So you get for whatever reason, and my mom would agree with this, and I think my siblings would as well, that for some reason he was really hard on me, which drove me to be a straight A student, to be the athlete that I became, to just be very persistent. And I really became something that my father never was, but I think he hoped to be. And what I had to let go of at some point is I had to stop performing for him, and I had to start growing for me. And I learned that as a young dad, like letting go of that and remembering. Like I tell my son, and I've shared this story before, where my dad knew that I loved to ride in his Dan Ledusky truck, and I thought he was so cool because everyone had a red one, but he had a black one. And I remember him going in, taking out the passenger seat so he could put a milk crate there, and I could sit on the milk crate below the line of the windshield, because if other truckers saw you in there from Dan Ledusky, there was over 500 of them, they would report you and you'd get in trouble because insurance-wise, you weren't allowed to have your kid in the truck. So I remember him coming to...
It's safer to put you on a milk crate.
Yeah, I remember, of course.
Insurance-wise.
I remember him coming to Woodland, like elementary school, and picking me up, or when I was in kindergarten, and he was a volunteer fireman and a paramedic during the fire. So I try to tell my son those stories, but I have to say that day that he slapped me like that, he slapped me so hard, and that hate was born in me that day for him, and men like him.
And I even think I think about the progress that we made the other day. I got cut off in traffic by a total a-hole driver. I honked at him, and he threw a latte at me out his window, and it hit me on the windshield of my car. And I thought about it after I got home. I was like, man, 20 years ago or so, if Don O'Neill and I were in that car, we're stopping that car, getting at, not even worried if this guy had a weapon or a gun or what size he was. I would have stopped that car and got out and probably had a fist fight with that guy, or at least a screaming match, in the middle of 6th Avenue in downtown Seattle, because I don't know if I can draw the line to corporal punishment, but you and I think, had that switch for a lot of years, and I don't have that switch anymore. So, and I can't pinpoint exactly when it happened, but I thought about that. I was like, oh, that would have gone down. It would have gone down. Really, wow. It would have gone down.
Well, plus you and I look at that now, and we're like, that latte was $8.16. What a fool.
Ron and Don's Top 5 at 5.
Number 5.
All right, you want to talk about fire sailing MBAs, or do you want to talk about Congress trying to step in and saying, hey, we can't have Wall Street buying up Main Street, and managing Main Street, even though it appears that's still going to continue to happen? What say you?
Either one. I can go in either direction. The MBA thing I think is interesting, in part because I do think about college quite a bit, because your son's about to go to college in a couple of years. The woman that's my life partner now, her daughter is going to be going to college in a couple of years.
Oh, wow.
It's very smart. Just made the honor roll, and it's like, I wonder if she thinks about, would I want to, what career path am I taking because of all the stuff that's happening with AI? And so the MBA story is these universities are finding, we used to just be a pipeline. Like if someone got their 4-year degree in finance, they'd get the MBA and we get another 50, 60 grand out of them. And now kids are getting that 4-year degree and going, time out. Maybe I don't want to spend 60 grand into a master's degree that might be obsolete by the time that I get it. And so they are lowering the price. And there are some big name universities that are 50% off right now if you want to get the MBA, but they don't really have an answer for, we can guarantee you that this job's going to have any demand for it when you get it. They're just saying, let's lower the price, and if you want to roll the dice with us, let's go.
Yeah. Well, I think what's interesting about that is I was listening to an interview this morning. Should I say I was reading the Wall Street Journal or listening to NPR? Which
either one.
I wasn't doing either one, but I like to try to see if I can sound smart.
You were thumbing through your
especially
Atlantic
after the last segment
in New Yorker segment. So yeah.
Yeah. So I was reading the New Yorker. Anyway, no, they were talking to tech execs that run big tech companies, and they said, we were looking at AI 9 months ago that people with doctorates and master's degrees were using as agents to control and help. And now 9 months later, we don't need the person with the doctorate or the master's degree anymore, because they basically taught AI how to do their job. And we always hear that AI is going to punch people out of a job. In this case, it certainly did do that, right? So we were getting in an Uber yesterday to go to the Ryan Gosling movie, which, boy, wait till you see the end of it, Ron. Wait till you sit
5 hours and 25 minutes
J16. Yeah, it's really something. And I'm sitting there and we're having a conversation. You know how when you get in an Uber, it says you can have a conversation, or what would you like the weather to be like inside? Or
I've never seen those settings, but go ahead.
Oh, your preferences?
I haven't. I don't. Uber
Oh, you can check a preference.
Okay.
So my preference used to be I didn't want to chat. Now I want to chat with people all the time, because pretty soon I'm going to have a robot, I think, to chat with. Because I've been looking around and there's way more Waymo cars here in the great Pacific Northwest, and we got if you're an Uber driver, you got way more problems. I'm being serious though, right?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of them. I was down in Vegas, and they have the new one now that looks like a cube, and you sit in bench seats facing each other.
No way.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm not getting in that rig.
There's George Judson.
Exactly. It was wild.
All right. That's tonight's top 5 at 5. Hey, you guys, thanks for listening to this episode of The Ron and Don Show. Don't forget, it's brought to you by Team Lisa.
With a Y.
Team Lisa Mortgage. That's teamlisa.com.
With a Y.
Hey, it's Ron and Don here, our brand new sponsor, TeamLisa.com. That's TeamLisa.com. That's Lisa with a Y, TeamLisa.com. She is our mortgage broker here on the Ron and Don network. And so, Lisa, many people, they've had a divorce, maybe there's a death in the family, they're getting that new place, and they're really sensitive to their monthly payment. Do you have a way to control what my payment is going to be?
Absolutely. And let's just face it, things are expensive. But what I want to tell you is there's so many different ways you can structure your mortgage payment to make the payment lower. So if you're looking online at a payment calculator and you're getting discouraged, don't stop there. Give us a call. We can model out a few different things.
So one of them is I can buy down the interest, correct?
Correct.
All right. You can buy down the interest. I can do a 2-1 discount. Is that what it's
2-1
called?
buy down.
2-1 buy down. So there's
Yep.
a lot of different ways. And sometimes I can even get the seller to pay for it.
Hopefully.
All right. So Lisa's got all the tricks up her sleeve. She knows what to do. Give them a call or go to the website teamlisa.com. That's teamlisa.com. That's LYSA, teamlisa.com.
If you have a friend that is ready to start their real estate journey, send them to ronanddonsitdown.com.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Ron and Don Show. Don't forget, if you want to sit down with us, we're sitting down with a lot of people. I just came back from the east side. In fact, over Holly Drive. We used to ride our bikes out there when there are no homes.
Right.
Some beautiful homes out there now.
Back in my day, you could ride your bike around here.
Yeah, I just visited one. You need us, ronanddonsitdown.com. The way it works, we sit down in person after we've actually sat down online. We find out if we're going to be a good team. We find out where you're at, if you're buying, selling, investing. Sometimes people need help with financing, so we get in touch with Lisa, Team Lisa with a Y. Yeah, teamlisa.com. And then this particular couple, they've raised their family on the east side, and they're like, hey, we're moving to Florida, and we sure have an awful lot of money tied up in our house. So how do we get the money out? How do we not overspend on reconditioning the house? And so,
and how do I get rid of this pool table?
Yeah, which they do have a pool table, and they have a piano,
Right?
A pool table and a piano, and actually we'll get started on that house next Wednesday. So that's pretty exciting. And they're going to be at our party on Sunday, which Ron is cooking.
Hope they like tri-tip.
Yeah, I hope they like tri-tip.
The party is Sunday, not Saturday.
Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday.
I'm gonna come on Saturday.
The 31st. Yeah. Yeah. And did I ever think we talked about Matt bringing the pie over, didn't we?
I think so.
Yeah, and thank you for the pie and everything. Bring the pie. Like, bring the pie guy. Whoever the pie guy is, he's invited.
Brian, okay.
He can't come without that cherry pie.
Brian the pie guy. Yeah.
I have not had a cherry pie that good since that pie. It wrecked me on the.
That was a very good pie.
Yeah, I've had people try to give me some birthday pie after they come close to his pie. I don't even want to know his name. He's just the pie guy. So.
Okay, the pie guy.
All right, very good. What do you got, Ron? And then we're going to find out what podcast everyone should be listening to on the Ron and Don.
This super interesting. So Microsoft there's a big story out right now that they are telling the internal groups to not use Claude code anymore. So I'm going to, for the average Ron and Don listener, let me try to frame this up to make this interesting to you. So everybody's heard of AI. You may not be familiar with all the different models in different companies. So right now, there is a major arms race to see who is going to become the dominant AI in AI technology. And everybody knows that there's probably going to be 1, 2, or possibly 3 companies that are winners, and then everybody else gets acquired or goes away if they have anything to offer. So right now, there's just an all-out war to see who can become dominant. And so the big players for a long time were ChatGPT and then Claude, which is Anthropic. And so when you hear on the stock market that, these companies, $1 trillion valuations, and we're building data centers and all that stuff, it's because of this race. And so Elon Musk saw these 2 companies going leaps and bounds ahead of him. And so he started Grok, which is going to get rolled into this $1.8 trillion IPO that happens in a couple weeks for SpaceX. And so the biggest thing, that the bottleneck became the data centers. And so for decades and decades, if you type something into your laptop, the computing power happened on your laptop. And so when you were making a slideshow or crunching photographs on your laptop, the processing was in the physical laptop in your hand was held the computing power. And so what AI has done is taken it off of your laptop, so the only thing you do on the laptop is do the prompt, and it goes to the data center. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So in these data centers back in the day, the only people that were buying like NVIDIA chips were gamers. So when hardcore video gamers wanted better and better graphics for Halo and all these different games where you're moving through universe and you're shooting weapons and it's all 3D realistic, and they needed more and more processing power for the graphics. And so a couple companies popped up and they were making these specialized cards to say, hey, if you're a high-end gamer and you want ultra realistic Madden football where you see everybody's helmets and they got their names on the back and all that, you have to have these specialized graphics cards. Well, the AI people found out that, you know what these cards do really well is, in addition to gaming, is the large language models. And so that set off this spark where people that bought into NVIDIA back when it was $5 a share ended up making a lot of money because NVIDIA took off like a rocket and Broadcom and these companies took off like a rocket. So now there's this arms race. Anthropic doesn't want to share its data center with Grok. Grok doesn't want to share its data center with ChatGPT, et cetera, et cetera. We want our own data centers and we want our own, internal processing, our own models, because if we win this war, then this is going to be a company worth trillions upon trillions of dollars.
And Elon Musk just lost his lawsuit as well.
And so Elon is really pushing this with Grok. Microsoft had been in bed with Anthropic when their CEO got fired and then got rehired, and that's too long of a story to get into. Here's what I think is interesting, though. Microsoft took a look at their books and they said, allowing all of our Microsoft programmers here in Redmond to have unlimited use of Claude code is costing too much money. So he just came out and said, no longer, you can't do that anymore. You can't use Claude code anymore. Here's why I think this is interesting to the average Joe like me and you. What has happened with these data centers and the way that they are sucking up power?
Kevin O'Leary right now is, people are pushing back because he's trying to build data centers like this in the Midwest, and Mr. Wonderful that you see on your TV set, and he's like, "Hey, I'm doing this for America. I'm doing this for the world." And they're like, "No, you're not. You're doing this
for yourself.
You're doing this for yourself."
So these data centers and these chips, they buy, the data centers are buying every available NVIDIA chip and Broadcom. They're buying every one that they can.
They take up a lot of water, don't they?
They take up a lot of water and take up a huge amount of energy. So there are places in the world that have data centers where cities are having to choose, do we give our citizens the option to have air conditioning this summer, or do we funnel all this money for more profit over to the data center? And so the commodity has become the data centers and the amount of energy that they're sucking out of the grid. So the way that the AI companies have structured this is they said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We only have so many data centers. We're trying to build this business as fast as we can and build data centers as fast as we can. We're maxing out the amount of literal electricity we can pump into the buildings. So we have to turn these things into something that we can sell. So what the data centers have done is they've turned your request into something called a token. A token is the amount of physical energy.
I was going to guess a Beanie Baby.
It's not a Beanie Baby.
Yeah.
So a token is the amount of literal electricity it takes the data center and all of these gaming video processing chips, the amount that it takes it to process a request. And so they have turned that unit into what's called a token. So in the gas market, you have a barrel of gas that gets turned into, gasoline, unleaded, and petroleum products. In the AI business, it's a token. So think of a token like a gallon of gas. And so if you go out, Don, and you say a thing like, hey, what's the best movie theater to watch this Ryan Gosling movie in? That doesn't take a lot of gallons of gas for the AI to process. And so it goes out and it charges you a tenth of a token, or I'm making that number up, but it charges you very little of a token. Now, if another person comes out and they say, I'm going to feed you, 2,000 pages of spreadsheets, and I want you to, the AI, go in and write a piece of computer code that's going to make a app out of this data. Well, that's going to chew up a lot of tokens. And so the AI models now are charging by token. So if you get a monthly membership, you have so many tokens. And if you run up against your limit of tokens, they say, hey, you want to buy more tokens?
Right.
And so what Microsoft had been doing was they partnered with Anthropic to get it. They wanted to use Claude AI to power Bing and to power Copilot and to be the engine that is doing that. And then whatever deal they have brokered. And then once it got big enough, Microsoft was going to spin this off into its own AI that writes code. Well, their programmers love Claude code. And so they had carte blanche use of Claude code, and they've been hitting their data, their token limits every day, all day. And so Microsoft had to just be paying out token after token after token. And so finally Satya stepped in and he's like, no, we can't do that anymore. So Microsoft employees, we told you to train on Claude. We have videos telling you how to train on Claude. We can't use Claude anymore. It's billions of dollars in tokens that we're spending. So until Microsoft builds its own data center that then steals its own power from Redmond, some of these data centers like Grok, they had to bring in gigantic diesel powered generators to fund their first data center. Because the city's like, we don't have enough power to give it to you. They bought an old warehouse, refurbished it back east, built this thing out. And the power company was like, we can't generate that much power. And Elon was like, well, I guess I'm going to bring in these huge diesel powered things and just start them up. So 24 hours a day, diesel trucks pull up and fill these tanks full of gas so that they can power their own data center. And they are trying now. And I think that ChatGPT just bought a mothballed nuclear reactor.
That's what I was going to.
They're bringing that reactor back online just to power the data center.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. We'll probably see a lot more nuclear power in the future.
So this arms race, if you will, to become whoever's going to win the AI race, it comes down to the capacity of our electrical grid. Like they're projecting that if it stayed at this pace for a couple more decades, you would use all the available power on the earth and then some. So like no one else would have any all the electricity would go into the artificial intelligence that the doomsdayers say, that will then, turn out the lights on humankind.
That's a fun way to end this segment.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. The end of humankind. More in a minute.
Ron and Don, from radio to real estate. When you're ready to grab a cup of coffee and sit down with the guys, go to ronanddonsitdown.com.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Ron and Don Show, and we're going to talk about podcasts that we've been listening to, a podcast that maybe you should listen to, and I promise you, we're not going to, no updates on the real Brady Bros. Not going to, I've grown a little bit as a human. I spent some time at the Ryan Gosling movie. I just heard Ron talk about the end of mankind. Ryan Gosling does deal with that in the movie.
What if
all three hours?
What
of
have
it?
you been enjoying in the podcast?
Well, we'll get to me in a moment. I was going to start with you. What's out there in the podcast world right now that you think people should be listening to? And is there a podcast that maybe you're kind of done with and go, hey, done with that one?
You know, the one I'm done that I have not listened to in quite a while was Smartless.
Yeah,
it was. It's gag,
it's too smart ass, and
the
they
gag
don't.
Of not preparing.
Yeah, it
was kind of charming for the first couple times, and then it's sort of like, dude, you got an A-list guest. Like, do some research.
Right.
Like, learn something about the person. Don't be a dumbass.
That's what's great about Howard Stern is he has 5 people on his staff that do all the research. So when Madonna sits there and says, "That's not out and that's not out in the public. How did you know that?" And a lot of times, there are questions that aren't exposing someone. There are questions that show kind of a sensitivity and a love and a maturation. And the smartless thing about, hey, we don't know who's coming on, and then we're just going to all throw questions at them, and then they'll have somebody on there that you're like, wow, you got Jacques Cousteau, which would be a great guest for them.
Very good guest.
If he wasn't dead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
John Denver would be great on there.
And they have no questions of any substance.
Nothing. They'll get someone on there, and they're like, "Hey."
Sean Hayes always asks, "Do you ever have an embarrassing moment?" It's like, okay, dude.
Yeah,
like that's
so we don't like that anymore.
So I'm off of that. But the one, and in fact, some of the stuff that I talked about in the previous segment about AI, I learned. I don't remember how I stumbled on this guy's podcast. It's called Plain English. I believe his name is Derek Thompson, and he's one of the smartest guys, like he's just brilliant. So he does an essay at the top of the show, and it can be about AI. He does a lot of really interesting stuff on GLP drugs, the class of drugs, and then he just has interesting guests on as well. But he does the research, he reads the book, and so he's one of these deep thinkers that is able to frame things up in a really creative way that you didn't think of. He was a co-author of that book Abundance that I like and recommended a couple months ago. And I checked him out on his podcast, and he's just really smart. It's really interesting and well done. And so if you like stuff where you really learn something and you walk away from it going, I didn't know that.
What did you learn where you walked away and went,
Well, a bunch of the AI stuff that I talked about in the last segment was from Derek's thing. His stuff on GLP-1s has really been captivating me because it seems like, I don't know if this generation of the GLP drugs I want to jump on board, but I'm definitely going to talk to my doctor about it, because not only does it, the obvious things we've talked about before with weight loss and things, it seems to curb all your appetites. So if I've been addicted to sugar my entire life. So it's like, it will, help, not that you lose the weight, but it will change the way that you're attracted to like sugars, let's say, or if someone that has an issue with alcohol or with smoking or whatever, depression, like it seems to turn down this response mechanism in the human body. So like stuff like that, we're just like, okay, he had the head I think it was Pfizer or one of the big three things on, and like had a really cool conversation with him well beyond what I've heard what other people would be able to do. So Plain English is the name of the pod, and just do a needle drop on any title that you find interesting and or captivate you, and I think you'll really enjoy
Matt,
it.
you're pretty smart, which is surprising to a lot of people. What Matt's brilliant, actually. What is there a podcast out there that you like to listen to, or you and the missus listen to?
My favorite podcast for years and years has been the Ron and Don Show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe you aren't that smart.
I like Tim Ferriss.
You do still?
Yeah.
What is Tim Ferriss talking about these days?
Oh, when he has his thing where he talks, it's not so much, but like he'll have a guest on that's like not somebody famous, but it's interesting and it's long enough that they go into some detail or whatever so he had the woman that's the NFL security. She's in charge of all security for the NFL, and she used to be the chief of the Washington D.C. Police Department.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And talk about her life and what how that went or whatever. So
that's good. Tim Ferriss has some good episodes. I've listened to a lot of Tim's episodes.
All right, you ready for mine?
Yes.
Can I get a drum roll?
Let me.
Drum roll, please. Okay. Wasn't ready yet. Ready. So you've watched, what is it? Strange Pumpkins, Smashing Pumpkins, right?
Yes.
Billy Corgan, have you?
I've listened to him.
The Magnificent Others podcast.
He can be a little all about Billy Corgan.
Yeah.
But he is very smart.
Like, I like when he had Eddie Van Halen's son on.
Wolfgang.
And he said, Wolfgang, we're not going to just sit here and talk about your dad because that's what everybody else wants to do. And then he just proceeded to talk nothing about Wolfgang and everything about Billy and his relationship with his dad, Eddie.
Right.
Which I thought, that's pretty awesome. Anyway, guess who he had on?
If you say the Brady Bunch guys, I can't handle it.
I told you I wasn't going to do any kind of real Brady Bro stuff. This is different, though, because it's Billy Corgan. And this is in Touch Magazine, you guys. Get this. Barry Williams, otherwise known as Greg, 71 years old, sat down with Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins. And he said, hey, I don't know if you guys realize this. Barry Williams was on the Brady Bunch from 1969 to 1974.
Who would have thought?
Get this. Because I talked about my dad open hand slapping me and how I pretty much hated him after that.
Did Billy Corgan slap Barry Williams?
No, but get this. He says, even after the show ended, its popularity grew exponentially as it went into syndication over the next decade, which, by the way, those kids don't get paid anything for that. It's even Alice. It seemed like everyone in America knew Greg, Brady, but they didn't know Barry. I'm like, That's the way I felt when my dad slapped the hell out of me sitting on the toilet when I was like 6. Then he goes on to say, in fact, Williams' new sit-down interview, here it is, you guys, that Magnificent Others podcast, that's not really about others. It's all about Billy Corgan.
Yeah.
In the iconic Brady Bunch house. They did this interview in the house, in the Brady Bunch house. I don't know if it was in Greg's bedroom with the bunk beds, and then you're always like, where does Bobby sleep? And I always thought, I wonder if Bobby sleeps with Peter. And not that something was going on there because, but they only showed a bunk bed. They didn't show Bobby's bed.
If it was
And I
possible
think
to
Greg
have,
slept on the top, and then I think Peter was down below. Where the hell was Bobby sleeping? Under Sydney's bed? We don't know.
if it was possible to have negative interest in this story.
Then he goes on to say Billy Corgan then recounted a fan encounter that he saw
still not
firsthand
interested.
when the two had met. They were walking down the street, and someone called out, "Hey, Greg!" Which annoyed Billy Corgan.
What about Barry?
But not Barry. I was so impressed that you had sort of made peace with the whole thing. That's what the Smashing Pumpkin singer told Williams. That wasn't always the case, confessed 71-year-old actor Barry Williams. As he explained, in the years after the Brady Bunch finished its 5-season run, being called Greg made me feel like they didn't know me and somehow is a threat to my identity. But now I see it as the only way that I can make money.
I feel like I've listened to the whole episode right now. Excuse me.
No, he did say it wasn't meant to be offensive. It wasn't meant to disregard me. So anyway, I thought after my dad smashed the hell out of me, I related to that. And I'm like,
on a serious note, why are you interested in shows from the 70s to this degree? To be honest with me,
if you got
why was this?
I love nostalgia. If you have a moment, and then what they say in the interview,
I'm not listening to this.
What they say in the interview,
I'm never going to have this moment.
He said he told him like.
Why would I have this
Billy
moment?
Corgan, like me, said, I got really addicted to the Brady Bunch, like Good Time Hour. Like Glenn Campbell had a Good Time Hour, so the Brady Bunch. I went back and started watching old shows.
Oh, my God.
You cannot get enough.
I can get enough. I already have enough.
Get enough.
I have enough.
Of all the kids dancing.
Way more than enough.
Singing.
Not interested.
They sing horribly bad. And then
I've had enough.
And then their dance moves, which are supposed to be choreographed, they're not even in sync with each other. And then Dad comes out, who's hating the whole thing because he's a Shakespearean actor.
Yeah.
So he sings like Shakespearean, and then Henderson comes out, and she's the only one that can sing in the whole Brady Bunch.
She was talented.
She was very, very
When
good.
it's time to change, to rearrange.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, they went on to say some of the biggest
you don't have to read the whole article.
Some of the biggest names on the show: Tina Turner, Farrah Fawcett, Charo.
I would love to hear a Charo.
Did you grow
podcast.
watching Charo and your dad was
Gucci,
like
Gucci, Gooch?
Your dad, dads love Benny Hinn, and they love
Benny Hill. Benny Hinn was a preacher.
That's right. They loved him too, but they love Benny Hill more. They love Charo.
Oh, well, why wouldn't you love Charo? And Zsa Zsa?
Like I would when Charo came on, I would always look over at my dad, and it would light him up a little bit. Yeah.
I'd be more interested in a Charo podcast.
Anyway, and they
than
also
a Brady Bros
they
podcast.
also had Rip Taylor on
Rip
and
Taylor's
Milton
funny.
Berle.
Both those guys.
Don't you want to watch the Good Time Hour now with the Brady Bunch?
No, but I would love to hear more about Milton Berle,
Yeah, here it is. The Brady Bunch.
whose nephew was. Here's a fun fact.
The finale, where are the kids?
They're not coming out for this one, honey. We're going to do this by ourselves.
We always do this with the kids.
Well, the kids are going to be singing and dancing disco songs, and they didn't figure they'd have enough energy for the introduction, too.
Oh, I see. Wait a minute, aren't we going to dance and sing?
Well, sure.
What makes the kids think we've got the energy to do this introduction?
We can have
Wow,
six
that's
of them.
some
There's just
writing.
no end to our energy. They think we're bionic.
Plus
Maybe they're wrong.
Plus Dad was gay. All right, let's just hear the first bar. This is the 70s. It was a really long introduction. This is better than Sonny and Cher.
Make it stop.
I got this Donny Osmond for you too. Look at it. Look up.
I don't want to look at it.
Look at it.
No.
You have to look.
I'm not looking. I don't want to look. I don't want to look at it.
Come look at them. You have to look. You have to look.
No.
Look!
Great.
That right there, you're going, that's not Eve Plum. And play, it's not Eve Plum. This is not Eve Plum. Eve Plum wouldn't do this show. So they had to get Eve Plum the Who, and that's the girl that sat in for you.
He really watches these. I wish it was.
Oh, man. Anyway. That's the Brady Bunch, you guys. That's the Brady Bunch. Hey, guys, thanks for listening to this episode of the Ron and Don Show. Is this on? Are you still with us?
I doubt it.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget, if you need us, all you have to do is go to the Worldwide Net, just like you are right now, and schedule a Ron and Don sit down.
Yeah, go to ronandonsitdown.com. You can fill out the request form right there online, or just email me, ron@ronandon.com.
Yeah, and if you need help with a mortgage, whether you're buying, selling, refining, get in touch with Lisa, right?
That's
with
Team Lisa with a Y.
Yeah, that's teamlisa.com, teamlisa.com. Hey, want to thank Matt for working on today's show. Thanks, Ron, for being here. Myself, I was extraordinary. Want to thank Charlie the dog, my 7-year-old son who hates being on the show. Hates it. It's like, when are you going to take me off there? It's like, you know what? You just signed up for another year. Well, you keep putting money in your Roth IRA, kid. Your station voice for here until eternity. And I want to thank the Brady Bunch for stopping by.
Thanks.
And the fake Eve Plum. That it's not the same. When I watch that, and I'm expecting to see Eve Plum. Who was Eve Plum?
I have no idea.
She was the girl in the middle. She was Janet. How do you not know who Janet is?
I don't like the Brady Bunch.
Cindy has also come out and went to therapy and said, I know that I was stupid on the show, and then it made me feel stupid in real life. That's just like my dad just slapping me when I was sitting on his can. It's the same thing. Yeah, that's why I relate. You asked me why I like it? Because Cindy felt stupid and Greg felt not seen. Same with me.
Okay.
Yeah. And then their gay father took a belt to him. Anyway. That is weird that he was gay in real life, but not really. But it felt like he had to hide that. I wish it would have all been out in the open like it is now. Don't you?
I stopped listening like 4 minutes ago. I don't like the Brady Bunch.
All right. Till next time, keep your head up and your shoulders back. And you are going to listen to the Ron and Don Show only on the Ron and Don Radio Network.
Well, that's it. Show's over. We'll see you next time on the Ron and Don Radio Network.